Shalom. Kol Halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Wakaha Kwadash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges of the earth, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations, that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black thing, a color thing. All right. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. Do not get it twisted. All right, the Israelites do primarily make up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, but as a result of the diaspora, the Israelites are among all nations on the earth and will, in a lot of cases, have the appearance of those nations. I have to say it twice because, quite frankly, collectively, people are stupid. As a matter of fact, I think I had... Guess I don't have it. I was looking for this definition that I had that I was going to share real quick, but since it's not ready on hand like I thought, oh, it is. Here it is. Salakia, I do have it. It's since I mentioned this is diaspora, and it's G1290 and or diaspora, I guess. And it says, let me just bring it up. All right, outline, scattering, dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. All right. And then it says of Christians scattered abroad among the Gentiles. Well, it tells you in the book of Acts that the Israelites were first called Gentiles or Christians at Antioch. So the diasporas of the Israelites, not other races, not Christians. All right. All right. It's pertained to the people that are involved in Christianism, in the religion of Christianism, but the Israelites scattered. So in essence, both these women could be Israelites. That's the point. All right. They could be of the same bloodline and look completely and totally different. That being the point. Now that that's out the way, let's get into the lesson. So what I'm going to do is play through this video. This video is 11 minutes long. You can see the name of the video. Okay. As a matter of fact, before I go any further, just in case our material is copyrighted, I'm going to read the copyright statute. Fair use, which is allow, use for material for educational reasons, criticism, learning, etc. Okay. Just trying to find it so I can read it. Just give me a second. Maybe I should check here. There we go. Okay, that didn't work. All right. I really got to clean up, get rid of a lot of this stuff that's in here. Salakia. Some of this stuff I got in here double. There's a lot of info in here, Salakia. There it is. Disclaimer. All right. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So now that that's been said, without any further ado, a homestead journey with this, I don't know her name, this attractive young woman, I believe is Jake, that looks like Jake. It's like this caramel colored brown person. Wait a second.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now.
So let's sound. It's not. She's struggling in America. Wait a second, Blondie. Here we go.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree?
Damn shame.
I barely have a life. I have 2 days off, and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a one-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working out for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
What am I doing wrong?
So let's answer her question before we get to homeboy right here. You're not going to make your situation better by moving around to the other side of the frying pan. You're still in the damn frying pan. Let's get a scripture. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes. And verse 1. All right. Now, this could or could not apply to her. I believe she's a Edomite, you know, but we're going to read it anyway. Okay, because that's the problems. People believe too much in Esau. They believe too much in Egypt. We'll probably read that too. But it says, Ecclesiastes 12:1, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. All right, so if a person was wise, okay, they will come to the understanding, especially after all the videos that have been done by the apostles and elders and the men of the great millstone, proving to you that the Bible is 100% true. All right, and that we truly are the people of the Lord, and the prophets have to be among men here on earth. The Lord uses men to bring his message. Somebody has to be it, and Christianity does not teach about prophecy, the future, or what's going to happen or anything. That, you know, they're not in tune with the Bible, nor any of his laws or anything. It's actually kind of pathetic. All right. Now, understanding that even if, you know, if you had an understanding of the Bible, what was his name? I forget which president it was, Theodore Roosevelt, that said a thorough knowledge of the Bible is better than any college education, young lady, that you can get. A president of the United States said that a understanding of the Bible was better than any college education that you could receive. So if you knew that, if you knew or had a good understanding of the Bible, what you would do was you would understand that you would know that America is Babylon, that your government is wicked, and that anything that they prescribe is not the best thing for you to do. All right, you would know that, and you would be able to avoid you would know not to rely on your government. A lot of people did that, and they took this medical thing, and now they're all dying of myocarditis and you got, and all kind of other illnesses after they did that. People are paralyzed and all kind of weird shit. Okay. Ecclesiastes 12:2. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. So these banks and these people that are, and you know, it's funny, like a lot of these geopolitical financial people, you know, and financial experts have been, you know, telling you to keep calm and all that. They're panicking now. All right. Jamie Dimon, which is the CEO of the biggest bank in America, Chase, JP Morgan, has been telling you that the crash is coming and to prepare and get food and, you know, get your mind right, get yourself ready. Even he's telling you. All right. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves and the grinders shall cease because they are few and those that look out the windows be darkened. So that young lady didn't really much see a future. She's like, where can I live? All right. And then the thing is, she's trying to live in Myrtle Beach too. So you're living above your means. All right. Isn't that the famous place where all the rich people go to golf? You know, then what was his name? Bob Hope have his golf tournaments there or something to that effect, you know, in years past on a regular basis. All right, you're best off, you know, if you're an influencer and you're actually making some sort of money, you're best off going to small town America and doing all your, you know, shoots from there where everything's a little bit, you know, cheaper. Even though that's not really going to help you in the long run either. But nevertheless, when the grinder shall cease, all right, because there aren't a lot of jobs. Businesses are shutting down in major cities like Chicago. You know, America basically got, you know, this society moved from consumerism, and now consumers aren't consuming because they don't have the money to consume and, you know, just to buy, you know, they have, you know, you will go up and down Clark, Broadway, you know, different places up on the north side, State Street, downtown. And it was just shops everywhere, strip malls everywhere, just to buy trinkets and things you don't even need, just shiny things. You know, plastic this, metal, jewelry, whatever. And now people don't know where their next meal is coming from. Then you have some people like this, like Noah's going down. It's like, fuck it, I'm just going to eat steak and eat good until I can't because I know I won't be able to. You have some people that have that mindset too. They know that it's over. They're like, what the fuck are you saving for? Enjoy it while you got it. You know, if you on death row, because America is basically a prison colony, you know, from the East Coast to the West Coast. And at different levels of, you're no different from the guy in the maximum security. All right. It's just that you have freedom to move around the entire prison, but they're restricted to a cell. All right. And they get to come out and walk around, you know, whatever. All right. But the truth of the matter is Americans are prisoners because you're under payments. You know, you're in more and more your rights are being taken away from you from these Israeli lobbyists that clearly are controlling your government. And now it's you know, now it's being talked about that your current president converted to Judaism, which explains a lot if that be true, because America's all about Israel and not about America at all. And you speak about it, you get labeled, you know, with the anti-Semite thing, you get attacked. All right, just for pointing something out that's absolutely 100% true. It doesn't have to be a slander or, you know, saying something that's disrespectful. You just pointing out a fact or some truth can get you labeled with that anti-title. All right, get you counseled in a place that's counseling itself in the first place. It says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, an alarm clock or actual bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. So you're getting up to go fill out applications, go online, fill out applications. There is no work. All right. And music absolutely sucks collectively. There's no talent. That's why they're regurgitating. And not only that, people aren't really getting paid. You know, actors, A-list actors are doing commercials and stuff, knocking out the up-and-coming actors who usually get those roles. Most people start off in commercials and then they get a small role in the movie, you know, like that. Or sometimes, you know, they could be an influencer. And if they're popular enough, that influencer get brought into a commercial or into a movie. Those people being knocked out the picture because now you got mainstream Oscar winners and shit like that. You know, Oscar nominees that are doing commercials.
I work every day and I'm still broke. Like, I have a decent job, I make some decent money, but I live out here in Cali. Like, bro, as soon as I get paid, I have all these bills stacked up, bro, that should...
California is way, way overrated. It costs way too much money to live there. And I haven't been there since, 99, 2000? I think was the last time I went to California. So it's, wow, damn, it's been a long time. But even when I went back, you know, it wasn't the same from the time when I was there in the late 80s and early 90s. It was the Bay Area was not looking the same. And now from the report that I get, you know, from my son and my daughter and my sons, you know, the town, the suburban town of Oakland that we lived in is straight ghetto. It's just drug infested, homeless infested, you know, it's crazy. And it wasn't like that. Okay. So it's all, you know, it's all coming down. It's all crumbling.
It wipes me clean. Like, fuck, I got no money left over. Making $100,000 a year doesn't get you anywhere nowadays.
Fucking commercial, you piece of shit. Fuck off my screen. Nigga, your mama. There you go.
I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews and still nothing. Like, what the going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
No, they're not. They're not. They're going to keep coming. Okay, let's listen to her.
Y'all, I just went today and got my...
Now, this is a seasoned woman. You can see it in her face. This is not a young woman. You can see the cracks around her eyes. You can see the neck. All right? This woman is not a spring chicken anymore. So let's see, you know, what's going on with her. Because you would think that this woman, you know, was getting ready to draw a pension and retirement or something, you know.
My driver's license renewed, my car tags renewed, picked up 2 prescriptions, and got a few groceries.
And she's a Southern Belle, so she's in the South, where things are supposedly a little bit cheaper than up here in the North. But
to say that I'm completely broke now is an understatement. So I'm going to have to go home and start selling off my furniture to be able to live the rest of the month. I mean, that's just, it's unbelievable.
So now you see why OF and all that stuff is so popular. But here's the issue. All right, she's really too old for that. You know, there's a couple weirdos. You know, there's somebody out there would buy her, would buy her services. But, you know, she may not have the mindset to do that. Well, I imagine a lot of women who do that didn't start off having a mindset to do that. They just realized it was an easy thing to do. But I don't think that would be easy for her at all. But the point being is that it's just getting bad. It's getting really, really bad. And the people, see, and all you women who you influencers who do this sort of thing where you hook up with men and date men or, you know, go online, stuff like that. it's gonna get so bad out here that people they're not gonna be able to afford that service anymore. They're gonna want that service, and a lot of them are gonna seek you out, and they're gonna just, take that service. That's what it's going to come to.
My heart hurts today, truly hurts for people who are not able. And we're living in some rough times, really rough times. And we need to be praying for all those around us who are not as fortunate as we are to be able to do the things that we need to do. I'm not talking about extras. I'm not talking about going on vacation and doing fun things. I'm talking about living, taking care of your vehicle if you can.
Wow. So, I got a client, and she's going to have a hard time because, and she's one of my favorite clients. She's been with me a long time, I would say about well over a decade, because her little girl's was a little woman now. She's 14. When, that little girl was barely 3 years old when I met her. And adorable little girl. I'm crazy about the child, or the young lady. She's I watched her grow up. And but she's grew up very fortunate. A mother who had lots of money, that takes her on trips, travels around the world, takes her back and forth to Ireland, to Asia, to Europe. She goes she probably goes to Disney World more than anyone I've ever met, I've ever known. She's gone to Disney. She goes to Disney World 2-3 times a year. And now all that's going away. And just something that simple is starting to bug her. All right. And, and her business is not doing so well. And now she's selling her business to some big mainstream people. And they want to pay her. And she wants to become an employee, so she doesn't have to worry about it again. But what she doesn't realize, that this is all signs of the deterioration. It's all about to come down. All right. And so it's funny. I always speak about these geopolitical things. And she never seems to be interested. But now all of a sudden, her conversation is going toward that sort of thing. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. There's a lot of scriptures in 2nd Ezra I want to touch. And now you begin to understand that that's the time that we're living in. And you also begin to understand why Esau Edom removed 2nd Ezra from the Bible, or the book of the Maccabees, or the Apocrypha in general. All right. Because I know the Apocrypha is in the Catholic Bible, but they removed the book of Maccabees because it identifies, Esau Edom as the wicked. It identifies the descendants of the Romans and Grecians as the Edomites, who are the ones who are hated of the Lord. And it's funny too that the same descendants of these very same Edomites also claim to be the people of the Lord too. But anyway, this is 2nd Ezra 6, and start at 24. And it reads, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand still in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs and fountains shall stand still in the streets." Salaki still stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So you're gonna have no food, no water, no power, no electricity, and the water is now connected to the electricity. And it didn't used to be that way, but now it is. So when your power goes out, you're gonna have no drinking water, no water to bathe yourself. So it's gonna get really, really bad, unimaginably bad, like nightmarish movie shit bad. All right, you got to think, man, because the sewage is gonna stop working, so it's gonna be backing up. People gonna be going in buckets and taking it outside. The stench is gonna be not, and the dead people, the dead animals, it's gonna get really, the disease, it's gonna get really bad for a while, Verse 25, "Whoever so remaineth of all these, have I told thee, shall escape and shall see my salvation at the end of your world." So what we're looking at the end of Esau Edom, the end of the rulership of the so-called white man. All right. His world is coming down. Just like it says in the Bible, these prophecies were literally walking off the pages. And men that have received shall see it, who have not tasted death from birth, and the heart of the inhabitant shall be changed. All right, and turn into another meaning. So, basically, when the elect put on those new bodies, those godly bodies, all right, when we're changed and made pure, all right, and we're made white, and not as in color, but white meaning it made pure. That's why so-called white people started referring to themselves as that, because they were trying to say that they were pure, not physically white, all right, because they're not. You're looking at a woman who would be labeled as a white woman, but there's nothing white about her. They're actually kind of pink, that peachy red color, all right, in which they're described in the Bible when it says in the first came out red all over. That's Esau, Edom, all right, and we're at the end of their world, and it's all collapsing, and there's no turning back, and Trump is ushering it in, okay. And because now he's with the small hatters, and they're fulfilling scriptures. The least of the flock shall draw them out, and we're seeing them draw out the rest of the world into and causing WW3. It's happening. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. So all the lies are being exposed and brought low, and exposed. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. That lie that they created, trying to classify everyone as dark, as African, and created names and titles. It says if you will become a proverb and an astonishment, right? These false names like Negro and Latino and, anything with those Latin phrases on the end of it. It's stuff that they made up. All right. Remember, the Catholic Church prays and speaks in Latin. Well, the language of heaven is Hebrew. All right. And it tells you that right there in the Bible. When the Lord spoke, he spoke in the Hebrew tongue. He didn't speak in Latin. He didn't speak in any other language. The language of heaven is Hebrew. And that's why the laws of heaven, well, just like in the Lord's Prayer, shall be here on earth as it is in heaven. And the 144,000, those judges, 12,000 men from from each of the 12 tribes shall be the handlers of the law and distribute the law here on earth. The Israelis aren't doing that. Hell, they have Pink City. They're not upholding the world's not going to them for knowledge and understanding. All right. The only thing they really give to the world is violence and destruction and more land grabs. And more policy, which is causing, everything to come down. This is Isaiah 9. And I'm going to read like 14. The point is in 20. But I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, Therefore Yahweh shall cut off, and therefore Yahweh will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. All right, so this is a future of what's going to happen to Israel. But remember, Jacob's trouble, JT's trouble, is everyone's trouble. All right, and the ancient and audible, he is the head, and the prophet and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. All right, so we still got these prophets out here that teach against the Bible, and they're supposed, and guys in fringes that say it's okay to do it in the butt, or take it in the butt, loose booty. All right, Peggy Bundy, the loose booty, which still has the nerves to be showing his face. Oh boy! And so I watched some video where some dude said in his presence he felt like he met Jesus. I'm like, and so that's how you know that he haven't. He didn't say the Lord's name. He said Earth Pig. And looked like he looked like he just finished eating a pig. This particular guy. But anyway, therefore, the Lord shall have no joy in their young, neither shall he have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For wickedness burneth as fire; it shall It shall devour the briars and the thorns, and kindle the thickets of the forest, and shall mount up like the lifting of smoke. All right. Through the wrath of Yahweh of the hosts is because he's the Lord of armies. All right. Is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel of the fire, and no man shall spare his brother. So the Lord is bringing these calamities, man. Hunger, death, destruction, and he's going to burn this place. Verse 20 in the point. And he shall snatch the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. A lot of cannibalism is about to happen. All right. People are going to start eating each other. That's how bad it's going to get. It's going to be no food. All right. You lose a gun battle. You lose a knife battle. You lose a street fight. Get knocked out. You're not waking up. You're going to get gutted and eaten. Okay. And whatever scraps are left of you, the animals are going to come eat. It's going to get pretty bad. All right. This is 2 Ezra 13 and 31. And it reads, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against each other. So you're going to have class riots, race riots, geopolitical, riots, left versus right. And then you're just going to have, one realm against another, neighborhood against another neighborhood. Countries against countries, towns against town. It's going to be an all-out free-for-all out here. All right? Go watch The Last of Us. You go watch The Walking Dead. All right? Some of the most dangerous things you have to face with other survivors. Fighting over the scraps of what's left. All right? And in the midst of that, especially in Walking Dead, you had the zombies walking around who are already dead, which is really representation of the dead state that the people of American Babylon, the world, are in. All right. But then you actually had people who were not infected, but were sick in the head and hungry. And their whole mission was to find other people who are alive and eat them. All right. You either join us and eat these other people with us, or we kill you and eat you. There it is. And it's going to get that bad. All right. And then, of course, in 2 Ezra's 15th chapter, the breakdown of government. All right. War unto the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, going against their governments, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're not going to listen to the authorities. All right. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of his pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, and a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. People kicking in doors, raiding, killing, taking supplies, taking water, taking women, all right, taking food, taking children. It's going to be pretty bad, man. And then you're going to know, we'll finish with this. 2 Ezra 16:73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. You're going to know who the people of the Lord are, all right? And the men of the Lord. And the women are going to flock to them, but only certain of them are actually going to be chosen by those men. It's going to come down, your salvation is going to come down to men that the Lord chose, whether you want to accept that or not. That's what the Bible says. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba Abba. See you in the next lesson.